Welcome back, everybody. Little Puckleheads action for tonight. We're back at it after the season. It's been a strange season for us, but just to get everybody kick-started into this, I got a little video that our great guy Mark at It's Rated Merc made for us over here for tonight. So just to get you guys in the mood. That was from our boy.
Man.
Yeah. Mark
I
does
didn't get
a great
chance
job.
to see that yet. Man, it's crazy how good he is at making like sports hype videos, even though he doesn't really even watch or care about sports at all.
Right.
At all.
I also love how two of the people that it said special guests aren't even here, and then I'm here and I didn't get a special guest.
I know. I saw that after he put it out.
No worries. No worries.
But I'm here, and I was on the poster.
Yeah, there you go. But let's just go around the room, and I'll introduce you to everybody. Why don't we start with you, Harrison? Harrison Brooks, Brooksy at Brooksy34 on Twitter. What's been going on with you, buddy? Beautiful Canadian background there for you.
Yeah, check it out. Just moved out to the West Coast here, so now I'm living it up West Coast style. I got the forest and the mountains in the background here, but yeah, no, I'm just chilling, ready to watch some playoff hockey.
Hell yeah. And then now we got Andrew Kahn from at the Boomtown Podcast. You can check him out on Twitter at the Boomtown Pod. Finally, we got that going on. So what's been going on with you, Andrew?
Bro, what isn't going on? I got followed by Gary Goodrich today. I'm fucking pumped, man. A UFC vet gives me the old follow. I should get that blue check mark sometime soon. Man, I'm looking forward to talking my second favorite sport besides MMA. Hockey is my life. I've played it for 20 some years, so let's get into it, boys, because the playoffs are here.
Hell yeah. And last but not least, my brother, Just Luke. You got a lot going on, buddy. You in the middle of moving there, huh?
Goodness gracious. I have a 3-month-old piranha now. He is doing nothing but chewing everything up. 3-month-old German Shepherd. Yep, you can hear the squeaks. I'm in the process of moving and finishing up my home on Monday. So all weekend I'll be working there trying to get stuff ready for the move. And work has not let up, but I'm so glad. That hype video I saw this morning, I was like, I think I could get through the day today just watching this video or run through a wall. Either way, I'm ready to fucking roll.
Hell yeah. I know. When he sent it to me the other day, it was nice to see. He doesn't really know anything about hockey. He's down there in Texas. They don't really know what's going on down in hockey down there. So, but let's start it off tonight. So we got divisional play all year, and the first 2 rounds are going to be inside the Division 2. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Like, for me, it's been kind of like tedious all year. I've kind of lost interest these last few weeks just because we've seen the matchup so much. It's not even really fun to gamble on because of the heavy favorites. But I mean, what do you think, Harry?
I don't like it that it's going to be 2 rounds of divisional matchups. I wish it was just the 1 round, because I do love the rivalries round 1, getting as many of those as you can. But it's just a real shame that only one of Carolina, Florida, and Tampa Bay are going to come out of that division.
Yeah, that's tough. That is really tough. What do you think, Andrew?
I just think I'm played out with how this has all gone on. I mean, I was totally for it at the start of all of this when they announced it. I was like, all right, right on. all Canadian division, especially like, Harry and I were pretty much excited to see our teams probably make the playoffs.
Oh.
And that did not happen to either of our teams. I mean, good gracious almighty. We talked about this on the preview show when we were talking about the season. I had said the Canucks and the Flames would probably be 3-4, and now we're knocking on the basement doors. So, I mean, it is what it is. I hope this is the last season we'll ever see of this with the vaccine and stuff being rolled out. I think we're going to have a full 82 next year. Divisions will be back to normal. I like the 16-team format, especially with that 32nd team coming in. I can't do another season like this again. Like it just didn't have any appeal to me after about the third game. Like, I mean, after you watch the third matchup, you're like, okay, I get it. Now I got to watch this 5 more times. Like, just no go for me. I mean, it was fun for the one season, but please, Lord Almighty, not again next year.
You know what I'd like to see though? I would actually like to see just the main rivalries. Give them maybe an extra game or two in a regular season, because I'd love to see the Flames play Edmonton, instead of 5 times, 7 times. I'd love to see that, and like Pittsburgh versus Philly. Those are rivalries. Like, if we could take anything from this season, I think that should be the one. That, like, let's bump up the rivalry games, and then drop the rest of it and move back to a more regular schedule.
Yeah, no, I agree. What are your thoughts, Luke?
Well, it was just super weird not seeing a Canadian team all year. It was definitely a weird transition. I was assuming we were going to play Matt Murray this year. Being a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, I figured we were going to get that rematch this year. He wanted a rubber match with the Penguins, so it was weird not seeing it. The 16 teams, all for it, no doubt in my mind. Especially bringing in Seattle next year. They just signed their first guy to a nice contract, so congrats to them. But I'm kind of spent with the interdivision right now. I've had my fill for a year. So to get back to some set of normalcy will be fantastic for the NHL next year. Also, how about the fact that they're not going to give away the division trophies?
Yeah,
the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference trophies.
Yeah.
They're just going to be like, hey, you don't get it.
That's all right, because I don't even think Colorado deserved to be the number 1 seed anyways.
Well, I'm not talking the President's trophies. I'm talking like the Western, like if you get to the Western,
the one team that was going to take it from them deserves it is also in their division. So
you're right. Absolutely.
Yeah. But I mean, let's get into that a little bit. I mean, what do you guys think about the possibility that we don't have the traditional East-West finals? Andrew, I mean, we'll start with you.
What was the last time we did this? A Clarence division, right? So 94. I mean, it's kind of probably the last time you've seen something like this. So, I mean, for the one season, I'm fine with it. But I do like seeing the best of the East. I like seeing the best of the West face each other. I mean, it's just this season has just felt off. Am I the only one who just lost interest about halfway through the season, about 30 games in? I was like, okay, so we clearly know who's each person is in each division and who's the best teams. I mean, Colorado separated themselves from the race early. Vegas is Vegas. I mean, you look at the Canadian division, Toronto's going to be the best because they have the highest cap payroll. The team is so damn good. I mean, and you look at the other teams that are in that division too. I mean, like, I honestly, Harry, I thought the Flames would do better than the Canucks this year. I honestly did expect that. Just a weird season, man. And I just think a lot of the players must have just got lollygagged too, because you can tell that guys who are usual big-time game turners just didn't seem to have that extra oomph in them. Like, I mean, you look at Ovechkin trying to chase Gretzky, right, for the most goals. I mean, was on a fiery tear, started up hot as hell, and then it was just like, whatever, like playing these guys again, so I'm just going to stand in the one-time slot and do what I do, like I don't know. I've lost the appeal. I really, really hope it goes back to East and West, like almost immediately.
So how is it working? It's like after the first 2 rounds, it just goes straight seeding after that, or what?
Yeah, I do believe that's how it worked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And on your point, man, like this was the most embarrassing season to be a Flames fan of all time. Like, they're a good team. and they have their number one goalie, elite goalie now. That was like the last piece of the puzzle, and then they're fucking battling with fucking Vancouver and Ottawa for last place in the division. That's fucking embarrassing, man. I'm so pissed about that. But
Hey, dude, we made the West semifinals to Game 7 last year. So
Yeah. But I mean, what do you think, Luke? You like it? Don't like it?
No, I don't like. I'm not gonna say. I mean, like Andrew said, for a year I'll take it. It's just been so weird this year. I mean, the last like year and a half I felt lost anyways with sports. So the sooner we can just get back to some sense of normalcy, to get these crowds back into the stadiums. I feel like last year it was just fucking super awkward with the goal, trying to score a goal, and there's just dead silence, nothing on the ice. You hear their goal horn play, and you're just like, woo, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, it was just so weird. So hopefully we can at least get. I mean, some of these states are open. I mean, Florida's wide open. I don't think Dallas didn't end up making it. So Texas was wide open now. So I just hope we can get some good crowds into these games, because it'll be at least somewhat normal playoff atmosphere.
Yeah, I'm looking to that Tampa and Florida series. That's something we'll talk about when we get into it. But let's start breaking down these matchups. So we're going to just start it right out the gate at home here, because we're Pens homers. So we're going to just start with the Penguins and the Islanders series. Neither me or Luke will be watching this at all, because we have been to 3 Penguins and Islanders playoffs games, and the total has been 12-1 for the Isles. So we will not be watching it at all, because we're a curse. So
that's how it works, yeah.
But the Pens did win this season series 6-2. But the Islanders just play that solid defensive style of hockey that gives the Penguins all kinds of matchup problems. Varlamov and Sorkin have been fantastic this year for them in net. So I'm really expecting this to be a 6 or 7 game series. The Pens are minus 150 favorites. But the Isles are plus 120. I like the Penguins to win this series just because of the home ice, but I can see it goes 6 or 7 games for sure. What do you think, Luke?
Well, right off the rip, it's going to be 6 games. I don't think it's going to be lower, and I don't think they can get them to 7. The Penguins have been playing absolute lights out hockey. I was definitely afraid at the trade deadline that the addition of Jeff Carter was just another Jerome Iginla type-ish move. An aging player that I don't think it would have messed up the chemistry that the young Penguins were having there for a stretch. But he is fielding great. Ron Hextall, I was very skeptical about hiring Ron Hextall as the Penguins GM. But him signing Jeff Carter and a couple other nice little signings like Friedman, and it's been nice for the Penguins to keep them rolling. It hasn't really stopped them. Jared McCann has been finally getting his scoring touch back, which is a huge help. This Penguins team is finally getting healthy at the right time and not at the wrong time. The Penguins have always been famous for getting beat up early in the season and not getting healthy at the right time, but now they're actually getting healthy at the correct time coming into the playoffs. It's going to be tough if you look at these teams. I mean, it's the Islanders are 9th in power play. The Penguins are 10th. They're 9th in penalty kill. The Penguins are 10th. It's 9-10, 9-10 all the way across the board. It's going to be a very knockout, drag-out series. Semyon Varlamov, historically against the Penguins in the regular season, has been pretty good. So I'll be amazed to see what Varlamov brings to the table in the playoffs, playing under Trotzy. We'll see, but 6 games for sure. I say.
Yeah, let's get an unbiased opinion now. What do you think, Harrison?
I mean, I hate to do this to you guys, but I think the Islanders have this, and like I'm actually shocked that the season series was 6-2 in Pittsburgh's favor. But yeah, I don't know. I just think once playoffs hit, it's going to be hard checking, low scoring hockey, which the Penguins, they thrive on outscoring people. I don't think they're going to be able to rely on that with the defensive system, Barry Trotz's defensive system, and Varlamov playing the way he is. And honestly, the only reason I think Islanders are going to win is I think they win the goaltending matchup, which is key in the playoffs. And I don't think is it Tristan Jarry or is it Casey DeSmith? Who's even like the guy? Because I don't know, and
It
I
seems
don't
like
think
it's been Jarry down the stretch.
It should be yours to lose at this point.
And so I think the Isles have the goaltender matchup, and I think that's the biggest thing, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, I agree. I can see it. I don't think this is a walk in the park at all. I mean, what do you think, Andrew?
What I do know is that the Islanders have the
right
best playoff coach in the game. I mean, Barry Trotz definitely knows how to shut down teams. The Islanders aren't going to win and beat you by high scores. I'll tell you that much. Like, I mean, I expect this to be Pittsburgh's tilted ice when it comes to offense, but Barry Trotz and that neutral zone trap that he plays as a coach, he has his entire team buying into that at all times. So, I mean, I've been tossed up on this one, boys. I'm going to be very, very honest with you. I just think the Isles are so good defensively, and the Penguins are so good offensively. Defensively, sorry, for the Isles, and they play such a good game. I mean, the goaltending thing is what I think it really comes down to. And Tristan Jarry has been pretty exceptional the second half of the season so far. But that tandem of Sorokin and Varlamov, I mean, you can go to either one of those guys, and I think Sorokin's actually been proving to the NHL why he was picked where he was, and that the Islanders finally have a guy besides, last name DiPietro that they're going to be able to sign to a long-term contract. So, I mean, in this series, I do favor Pittsburgh just because I think offensively they give more than the Isles can handle. But again, that defensive trap that Barry Trotz plays gives teams so much freaking fits, man. Give me the Pens in 7. I think this goes 7.
I also think it goes 7. I'm just on the other side.
Yeah.
Islanders.
Yep. No. So we all see a pretty much hard-fought series there. I really do believe it is a coin flip. This division has been personally just even unbiased that the Penguins are in it, the best division in hockey this year. So let's hope over the other side of this bracket here and the Capitals of Bruins. I'm super excited for this series. The Bruins, they split the season series 4-4. I'm really interested in how Ovechkin is and what is Tom Wilson going to be up to. We got the two dirtiest players in the game, Tom Wilson, Brad Marchand, facing off against each other in a total dick off.
You're forgetting,
and we'll see
in there too.
Yeah, which one could be a bigger douchebag in this series. I wish they would put odds on that. But that Bruins top line is one of the best in hockey.
Probably the best, but yeah.
Yeah, they're in the conversation. I like that Carolina top line too. I think it's one of the best lines in hockey as well. But that top line's great. But Taylor Hall has really fit in and changed the dynamic of the Bruins team, and Rask has actually come back and played extremely well. So I'm kind of interested in that. I think he could be the difference in this series. But I do like the Bruins, even at the heavy price, and even though the Caps are the higher seed, so they're going to have home ice on them. I just like the way the Bruins are coming into this, and I don't really trust the Capitals in this. I say the Bruins in 6. What do you think, Andrew?
Yeah, this is another one of those series, boys. We've been tossing and turning on this one because, I mean, there's a lot on the line here. I mean, Big Z, obviously that's going to be one of the major storylines too, going against his former team. It basically, I mean, this trade for Taylor Hall has ended up being the best thing that's ever happened to Taylor Hall. If he doesn't get re-upped in Boston, I just don't know what's going to go on with Taylor Hall. This is a guy who's playing for his career, and it sounds crazy to say that at this point in his life because I think he's, 26, 27? I mean, but he is playing for his career. He's been hopped around a lot, man. He's been signing 1-year contracts, trying to bank on himself, and it just hasn't worked. But that fit with Krejci on that second line, I don't know what's going on there, but that chemistry is crazy. The Capitals right now, how healthy is Ovechkin? How healthy is Backstrom? I mean, Backstrom's missed a ton of time in the second half of the season here, and that's a guy that you need on your PP1 unit, man. If you're going to win in the playoffs, they got to be electrifying on the power play, and that's something that Washington has always been. But what their status is kind of in question and where they are right now, this is the Bruins series to win. I don't think it honestly goes too long. I think this is probably over in 5. I also give the goaltender advantage to the Bruins straight up because it sounds like Vincent Vancic is going to probably be the goaltender for the Capitals to start things off. And Tuukka Rask, I mean, if the Bruins lose this, and I choke on my words, man, I'll be flabbergasted, but I think the Bruins steamroll this series in 5.
Yeah, I could see that too. What are your thoughts, Harry?
Again, I'm on the other side. Well, I mean, I'll put a disclaimer on that one. I think if the Caps are healthy, if Backstrom and Ovi are stepping in healthy, I think they win this one easy. I don't know. There's just something missing with Boston this year. They're not the same team that they used to be. I mean, that top line is always going to be the top line, and yeah, sure, Taylor Hall is fitting in real nice. And also, I just looked it up. He's 29. Like, what the fuck? Where did the years go? Dude's 29 already.
I said 27. I feel like that was a slap in his face.
Yeah. But I don't know. Is this Taylor Hall's first playoff games? Right there. He didn't make it in New Jersey, right?
He didn't make it in
What
New Jersey.
about Arizona? Did they make it in Arizona
last year?
Did he play some playoff games?
Yeah,
last year?
he was on that line with Granlund, and they were actually pretty good against Nashville.
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say if it's his first playoffs game, I expect him to do nothing, but I don't know. I don't believe in Taylor Hall. I don't put a lot of faith in Taylor Hall but that's why he's good in Boston, because nobody believes in him. He can be a second liner and thrive. So that is good. I don't know if it's healthy. If Ovi and Backstrom are healthy, I think it's easy Caps win in like 5 games. If they're not healthy, I think it goes 6 or 7, and Boston probably wins it if Ovi and Backstrom aren't fully healthy. But it's a tough one, man, because it comes down to like such minute things, right? Like it's one little thing. Ovi coming back could change the entire series, and like I do give Boston the goalie advantage. Like Rask is one of my favorite guys of all time, but that Vitek Vanacek, he's been fucking fantastic this year.
Vanacek, what was I thinking? Duh.
Yeah, I had to look it up. Hang on. What is it? Let's see. Yeah, Vitek Vanacek. Yeah. But yeah, he's been good this year. So I almost put it as a wash for a series, just based on his play, if he can keep up that play, obviously. But so I'm a little on the fence here. Like if we're going fully healthy teams, I think it's an easy Washington win, but doesn't look like that's going to be the case. So it's coin toss for me.
I mean, the complete X factor in this entire series needs to be John Carlson. I mean, he needs to be the catalyst of what moves Washington offensively. I know it sounds crazy to say it that way, but like this guy has averaged 50 points every single game or every single season he's played in the NHL. I mean, John Carlson is an elite quarterback back there. So in order for them, if they are banged up like they are, and we kind of know that they are right now, John Carlson has to be like probably the best player in Washington.
And I just want to throw it out there. I don't even think Tom Wilson should be playing right now. I think he should have been suspended for the entire year. So the fact that he's even in here is a black mark on the whole NHL. But he will be a difference maker while he's in there.
Playoff time.
Yeah, no, you're right. All right, Luke. So who do you think that our Penguins are going to face in the second round?
Bruins in 5. Goaltending is way better. I'm not going to say Vanacek's a wash, but I mean, if he gets ran, Craig Smith is the backup. I mean, Craig Anderson.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just not a good thing to have right there. Washington defense is aging besides John Carlson. I do give Andrew credit for John Carlson because he is an absolute beast on the back end of that defense and on the power play. The power play is huge for the Washington Capitals. That is how they score goals. I mean, it is
Bruins got to stay out of the box.
A very very injured Ovechkin, very hobbled Ovechkin, and a very hobbled Nick Backstrom. They're not spring chickens either. It's going to be a very tight 5. It sounds so funny, a very tight 5 games, but
You see it every year.
It's going to be an absolute knockout, drag out, and Tom Wilson actually might stab somebody. I mean, he might take a skate off and try to stab somebody.
At this point, he literally can, and he won't get suspended.
No.
Right.
But
Right.
I'm just curious how Washington, as beat up as they are on that first line, is going to match up with that top line in Boston.
You're absolutely right, and
I don't
even
know how you
worse,
stop
I
that.
mean, the top. I mean, I'll take the top 2 lines. I mean, the Krejci, Taylor
Yeah.
Hall, and Nick Ritchie isn't a
Bergeron and-
scrub.
Yeah.
I mean, Nick Ritchie still isn't a scrub for that line. Jake DeBrusk is a very young forward that's growing in the Boston system. I mean, I just don't see where on the defensive end, besides John Carlson and the goaltending, where the Washington Capitals are better than the Boston Bruins.
Yeah, but I mean, I've also been saying, I mean, you can say that about every matchup Boston's been in every year, is that I don't know how the top line of the other team's going to match up against this top line, because they can shut you down defense. They can shut down the best of them, right?
Yeah.
They can shut down anybody, and they can score like the best of them. So, but, you know, at the same time, they haven't had a lot of success.
I'm telling you right now, if Backstrom and Ovi and Tom Wilson are the top line, it would be close pretty much to a wash, first line.
Double V, V in the series has to play like a non-rookie goaltender. That's
Correct.
the only way this is going to change.
Yeah.
I mean, Tuca time all day.
Yeah, definitely.
No, but let's hop up to the north of the border where you guys, you know what puck's all about. But both these series are kind of lopsided, so I don't really know what to look for here. Like, I haven't seen a lot of this division. The first matchup we'll head into, I think it's pretty much universal that we all hate the Leafs.
The whole world does, except for people who live.
That we all think they're frauds. I mean, is there any chance that the Canadians can steal this series? I mean, if Carey Price gets hot,
that's the whole reason right
that's
there.
It.
100%.
He showed it last year.
In fact, I was going to thank you, Harry.
Thank you. Yeah,
perfect
thank you.
segue. That Penguin series, did anybody give Montreal the time of day? Nope. When they played Philly, did they give them the time of day? Nope. I mean, Carey Price stood on his head against the Penguins and single-handedly, him and Jeff Petrie won that series for them. I mean,
absolutely.
You don't have to, like, Carey Price had an dismal season statistically. He had a terrible year. But that doesn't matter. He's in the playoffs. And what does Carey Price do in the playoffs? Wins. That's all that guy knows how to do in the playoffs. I mean,
well, to a degree, but yeah.
To a degree, yeah. I mean, to a degree, yes. But he's seen quite a few playoff rounds himself. I mean, Jeff Petrie, Shea Weber. I mean, that's going to be a hard matchup for the Leafs top line to go against every single night in a 7-game series, because I don't want to say this because I'm going to probably piss off a lot of Leafs fans. Your top line's soft. They're offensive guys.
Fuck you, Leafs fans.
Yeah, I mean, play some big bodies like Weber and Petrie that entire time. I mean, it's going to get frustrating for those boys. Matthews, also, the one thing, I'm going to say this straight up right off the get-go, Freddie Anderson hasn't made it out of the first round in the playoff career. Give me Carey Price to steal this series. This is going to piss off Leaf fans because I've got about 1 million buddies who are Leaf fans.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you right now, Toffoli, Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, since he's been called up, has been electric. This Montreal team should not be slept on. I mean, the Leafs, this is probably going to go 7, but I like Carey Price over Freddie Anderson.
I mean, I haven't seen the exact, like, confirmed starting goalie, but I'd have to imagine that they're going with Jack Campbell.
Jack Campbell will start, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll at
Which,
least
I mean, it's
1.
still, but yeah, no, honestly, I can't, I can't put money down on the upset here, especially at fucking plus 210 versus minus 275. But I mean, I can't also say that it's full on Leafs going to take this one easy, because like we saw, like Andrew talked about, Carey Price, he can't do it all season like he used to be able to, but we saw last year that Carey Price in the playoffs still has that elite ability. And that's what it comes down to. If Carey Price is anything less than elite, even if he's like extremely good, the Leafs win. If he's elite, could go in Montreal's favor.
I mean, the Canadiens last year were the last ranked team to get in there, and they basically stunned everybody. I mean, and Carey Price did that by himself. So, like, I agree with you, Harry. If he's okay, the Leafs will steamroll this. If he's exceptional, the Canadiens are in the game every single game.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Leafs at all. They're paper tigers. I see a bunch of people defending them on my timeline all the time about, their division or whatever, but that division has not been good. It is, they fed off the bottom of it, and I'm still not convinced that if they split this home series, if they don't, just ball up. Like I haven't seen them show spine in so long that I refuse to put. I definitely wouldn't lay 3-1 on a Leafs team. There's no way in the world. I mean, I'm not going to bet the series either way, but I mean, I'm not taking the Leafs at 3-1 odds. There's just no way. What do you think, Luke?
I would love to pick Montreal and actually put money down on it.
I'll put
but
$5 for you.
Here's the thing. I give the Montreal team a bunch of credit because their main issue has just been this year is just scoring enough to win. That has been their issue. That defense is solid in Montreal. It is. It's not a bad defense. So
Romanov in there too.
Yeah, it's not bad. So if they can keep the Leafs in the twos and they only have to score 3, I mean, it could be a problem. It could be a serious problem for the Leafs. But I mean, I think it's going to go 7. But I just, if they have any spine, the Leafs will they blow them out. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see what Leafs teams decide to show up. Either Game 7 Leafs or see what happens.
And Paul, before you get in there, I just want to say all that hype that everyone was talking about, like, first time in however long that the Leafs won their division. It's like, get fucked, man. Like, if they're in any other division, they would be battling for 3rd or 4th. Well, maybe not 4th, but they'd be battling for 2nd or 3rd. Honestly, like,
put them
if they're in their regular division, they'd be sitting 3rd in their division right now. But they just happen to be in a division where the only other team on paper that should have been close completely shat the bed and isn't even in the playoffs, and then everyone else wasn't even close roster wise.
Right? Yeah. I totally agree with you. I'm tired of seeing it on my timeline. All these Leafs fans like thumping their chest and like acting like that something's changed.
Come up to Canada.
Come to Canada.
Nothing changes until you actually win a series.
Yep.
Like, nothing changes until you actually show the grit to win in the playoffs. Like, I haven't seen it out of them. It's all finesse, and the Canadians aren't going to be finesse. They're gonna rough them up. They're gonna get in their heads, and I don't know. I've seen Leafs teams just crumble. So let's see what happens.
I mean, the Leafs literally have to start this series 2-0. Like, they
have to.
They have to go bang. They cannot split this. They have to go bang bang. And I'm saying that because if they do have that comfortable lead, I mean, we've seen it in Leaf playoff history before, and these teams are much different than those Leafs teams from before. But there's been a common denominator here, and it's always been goaltending. And I'm telling you right now, people don't believe me when I say this. Freddie Anderson, as a starting goaltender, Anaheim and in Toronto, is 0-7 in the first round. He can't get the job done. Jack Campbell is actually proving that he was worth that high pick that LA made years ago. But now I'm seeing it, and I'm like, okay, a long time ago. I mean, he was Jonathan Quick's backup for 6 years?
Yeah.
And I think he was a Dallas pick actually before that
pick.
even.
Yeah, he was a Dallas pick that went over
first
to
round
LA.
pick by Dallas, yeah.
But I mean, Freddie Anderson has to steal this series. And that is asking a lot out of a guy who is 0-7 in the first round of the playoffs.
Well, it's tough. I mean, when you're 0-7 and then you look across the ice and you see Carey Price.
Carey Price.
That's a tough ass.
But
it's gonna be a good series.
I mean, the next series. I mean, if you like defense, don't tune into this one. We got the Oilers
Two of the worst
minus
defenses in the
185.
entire league.
The
Yeah.
worst.
And the Jets plus 150, and they're not much better. But I'm going to be taking overs all this series.
Big
I
time.
think these sail over. But you know what? Mike Smith has actually had a pretty good season. Like, for all
which is
joking aside,
super annoying.
he's had a pretty good year. I mean, a 924 save percentage is pretty good behind, considering they played no defense in front of him. But you know, I mean, who you guys think? I mean, McDavid, Draisaitl, or you like the Scheifele and Wheeler line? I mean, which one you like better?
Yeah, I'll jump in
Luke.
here. Obviously,
Yeah, go ahead, Harry.
Sorry, Luke. I'm jumping in here because
No, you're good. I'd rather get you guys in first.
I think we all know where I'm going with this one, but the Jets are going to win this easy. They're going to beat the shit out of the Oilers every single game. They're a big, heavy team. You know, their defense might not be great, but their offense is, and their offense goes a lot deeper than two players. So I think it's going to end. And we talked about how good Mike Smith has been. Fucking man, the wheels are going to fall off the bus eventually. He can't. I mean, he's not as good as he was this year. He just isn't. But Connor Hellebuyck is elite. So, goaltending matchup, Connor Hellebuyck's going to steal a few games, and the Jets are going to be physical and beat up on the Oilers. McDavid's not going to get away, or not get away, but he's not going to get as much space out there. They're not going to be calling penalties. It's playoff hockey. And power play is still their bread and butter in Edmonton. They're not going to get as many chances. 5 games, Winnipeg.
Ooh, 5 games. Huh? I like that.
Icy.
I like it. What do you think, Andrew?
I'm going 6 games, Winnipeg. And there was a trade that was made halfway through the season, right before the deadline, that now makes the world of sense for the Jets. I mean, you traded Patrick Laine for a guy who is one of the best defensive centers in the game, who is going to shadow Connor McDavid the entire time. McDavid ain't going to put up the regular season stats into the playoffs. I'm telling you that right now, because Pierre-Luc Dubois is going to be white on rice with him. As a Penguin fan, a couple years ago, how good was he on Sidney Crosby?
He's very good on Sid.
Pierre-Luc Dubois is a defensive centerman specialist. I mean, and the Jets, here's the thing. There's 3 guys that you could put on that right now on that ice surface that will score a ton of goals. I mean, Scheifele, Wheeler, Kyle Connor, Pierre-Luc Dubois himself. I mean, like, there's 4 legitimate guys right there. I mean, their defense is lackluster. Like, it is not good. But either of the Oilers have a horrendous defense.
Yep.
I mean, when they lost Clefbaum at the start of the year, I was like, oh boy, that's a major loss, because he was man number 1. Adam Larson's a flub. I mean, he is nothing. That Taylor Hall trade is, I don't know, just a wash at this point. But Edmonton has Mike Smith against Connor Hellebuyck, who was in a Vezina candidate trophy the past 3 years. I mean, that alone is going to win you this series. I mean, are you making fucking smoothies during a podcast?
I don't know what that was.
Anyways, nonetheless, thank you for making our smoothies. You can ship it directly to my house. The Jets are going to win this. I think it's 6 games. I'm not going to go 5. I just think the Jets offensively are going to be a little too much to handle for Edmonton, especially because Harry and I have watched a ton of fucking Edmonton games, because it's just pumped into our blood out here. But I mean, without watching those 2 guys, there is no offense. Nugent Hopkins is supposed to be a complimentary piece. He disappears in the thin air. Kyler Yamamoto had an explosive start, disappeared in the second half of the season. There's just that inconsistency, having that secondary scoring that Winnipeg can provide to win a series, and that Edmonton just doesn't have. And it's been proven all year.
And I'd even go so far as say, sorry, Paul.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I'd even go so far as say that I don't even trust Draisaitl on his own. Like, and I get, like, he had a great year last year without McDavid for big chunks of it. I don't know. To me, they're both momentum players. If they have the momentum, if they have the energy, yeah, they're almost unstoppable. As soon as they don't, they both disappear. more so Draisaitl though. Like McDavid's almost hard. It's pretty hard to make disappear
He gets
completely.
fiery. He gets pissed off like a little boy sometimes. I don't know
He
if
gets
you guys
pissed off
noticed
like a
that
little
this year.
fucking kid, and he throws elbows at people, and he's never going to get suspended either.
Fine.
which is-
Fine. That's all he's gonna get.
Fine. Like, yeah, like how many times can he fucking throw a blindside elbow to someone's face and not get suspended? But whatever, it's Connor McDavid. So, but yeah, no, I don't know. I don't even trust Draisaitl, honestly. Like, if they don't have the momentum, I don't think Draisaitl is a real factor.
As I alluded to too, though, I could say, like I said, Pierre-Luc Dubois and these guys over here in Pittsburgh land will definitely understand that, like, when he played on Crosby, that was really hard for Crosby. I mean, Crosby's had some hard matchups against those teams in Columbus. I mean, Dubinsky on him those years ago, and then they had to put Pierre-Luc Dubois on him right after that. I mean, you guys know firsthand. Tell me I'm wrong. I think he's going to do a fantastic job on McDavid.
Yeah, no, I don't trust. I don't. After the Oilers last year in the playoffs and that absolutely disappointing series against the Blackhawks,
I made so much
I'm
money
absolutely
on that one.
done.
So beautiful.
I'm done
Made
with
so
them.
much money on that series.
Kubalik,
Yep.
baby.
Yeah.
Done with them. I like the Jets. I like overs in this series. I think the Jets take it in 6, and I this is one of my favorite ones. So, what are your thoughts, Luke?
Yeah, well, I was riding the Jet train all last year, and then they fell flat on their face. That's per usual. But I'll tell you, this team reminds me of those LA Kings teams. Very big, physical teams.
Good.
Very. I
Minus
mean,
the
I'm not
defense,
saying I am not saying that Connor Hellebuyck is Jonathan Quick of those 2 years, that 2 year span. I'm not saying that, but Connor Hellebuyck can absolutely seal a series for you, and these two especially, yes, they love to score points, but they are very easily irritated, and these Jets will be on them from start to finish for 60 minutes. It doesn't matter. They will be coming at you in waves, and it's not going to stop. So if these two get frustrated, it's going to be a very, very long or very short series for the Edmonton Oilers. Depends on the way you look at it.
The simplistic way of saying this is that, I mean, we talked about how good Edmonton's power play is. The Jets got to stay out of the box. You stay out of the box,
Correct.
You win the series.
Correct.
Yeah, I think so, definitely. But let's hop back east. One of my favorite teams to watch recently, the Carolina Hurricanes.
So good.
And they're going to take on Nashville. I don't think this is going to be. I think that this is a sweep for me. I don't think the Canes, but I mean, let's talk a little bit about the Canes just for a minute, just because I love Sebastian Aho, and that line is. It just doesn't get enough pub around the league just because of where they are, but it's absolutely one of the best lines in the league. And it's not just those guys. They have 6 guys outside of that line that have 10 or more goals. So, like, they are super deep. I really like the way they play hockey. So, it's Canes in 4 for me. But, I mean, it looked like we pretty much all agreement on this, right? I mean, we're picking a sweep here.
Bust out the brooms. UC Saros isn't going to win you this series. I'm sorry. Like,
No.
it just, and
2 years ago, 2 years ago, it looked like he was going to be the guy to do it, but no, not there.
It's just when I see this Preds team and you see all the players that are on this team, I mean, you realistically look at it and you go, okay, well, this team defensively should have the advantage. You know, you got Roman Yossi, you got Ryan Ellis. They have a decent decor in Nashville. I mean, I say sweep, but this could go 5 games just to the fact that, like, we've seen in the Canes in the past.
Yeah,
we've seen the Canes in the past where they're like, oh, we're gonna have an off night, we'll let 6 in, and then we'll trounce you the next night and beat you 6-1. I mean, I'm telling you right now, this is my pick. I'm taking this Carolina Hurricanes team to win the Stanley Cup this year.
Hey, I was just going to say that, man. I think this is the team to beat this year. I think they're the best team in the league right now.
You look at that front 6 that they have for players, man. It is disgusting. I mean, Teravainen, Aho. I mean, what's his name? Shevlikov. I mean, they just have so many.
Mr. Sveshnikov.
Like, they've got so many good players. Plus, any given night they can throw in whatever goalie it happens to be, and that person's been lights out. So I think the Canes right now are the best team in the NHL. They're buzzing at the right time. And even though Tampa Bay got Cooch and Stamkos back, which
cap circumvention.
kind of crazy to think about that they're going to get them back. But I still think the Canes win the East or whatever the fuck we're calling this division.
Right.
And I think they're going to. I think they're my lock to win this thing, man. If they let me down, whatever. But the Canes are phenomenal this year.
That division is going to be sick to watch. Go ahead, Luke.
No, absolutely. I was on the Canes train last year. I loved every second of it. They were seriously a Svechnikov injury away from beating the Bruins last year, and they should have. There's no doubt in my mind if they had Svechnikov and they were at full strength, they would have beat the Boston Bruins last year.
Yep.
That line of Timo Teravainen, Svechnikov, and Aho is the top 3 best lines in the NHL. There's no doubt in my mind. And honestly, I mean, when you look up and down the lineup, I mean, Jordan Staal, Cedric Paquette, Nino Niederreiter, Marty Necas, Martin Hook. I mean, they have 4 lines. They will roll 4 lines at you. The biggest issue they did not address in the offseason, I thought they were going to go after Marc-Andre Fleury in the offseason. I felt like they should have.
Yeah.
James Reimer hasn't given me anything. Leafs fans, you should know. He hasn't given you. He didn't give you shit. He hasn't done anything for me. And
he's done more for the Canes than he has for the
Leafs. He's done
Leafs.
more for the Canes than he did for the
Correct.
Leafs.
You're absolutely right. And same
And
thing with
Panthers.
Peter. Same thing with Peter Mrazek, though. They have been. They're great in the regular season, but this will be the Achilles heel for this Carolina Hurricanes team? This goaltending. I'm not saying they're lights out, but this could be the downfall of the Carolina Hurricanes. I felt like they needed to address this problem in the offseason, and they didn't. They feel like they have a great D core. I mean, getting Dougie Hamilton back from last year they didn't have him last year. They didn't have Jake Gardner last year. Brett Pesce was out too. I mean, they can roll 4 at you. It's what James Reimer shows up to play each game. That's what it really comes down to.
Yeah, 100%. That's their on paper weakness. I mean, it depends on if they keep playing at the pace that they have been. It's not a problem. But on paper, that's the one thing that you can point to and be like, that might not be good enough. And it's unfortunate that last year it looked like Fleury was done. It looked like his career was over.
Yeah.
And that's probably the reason they didn't go after him. And then he comes back this year and he's Vezina.
One of the Jennings. Yeah.
Vezina candidate. So that's tough. But you guys have said it all about the Canes already, and I got nothing else to add, man. I think they're the best team right now.
I will say Raleigh will be absolutely rocking if they have full fans. That place is that atmosphere is completely 110% different when there is fans there.
Nashville fans are crazy too, though. Nashville fans are
yes, trust me, we get it. Yeah. We were there. All the Penguins in Nashville. I mean, that place. I mean, even through the TV. I mean, it was shaking,
loud, man.
I mean, it's loud. So I mean, if they can get I'm not full crowd in Raleigh. I mean, obviously, but
I think they said 9,000 today is what
pretty. I mean, it's pretty close. So I mean, that place will be absolutely rocking for these Hurricanes. A bunch of jerks down there. So let's see what they can do.
Yep. Yeah. No. We all like the Canes. So this next series is kind of a surprise to me. They installed the Lightning minus 140, the Panthers plus 120. I was all set to go with the Panthers, and then I read that Kucherov and Stamkos are going to be back. And in my mind, I just keep playing over and over again that I will take Vasilevsky over Bobrovsky every single day. Like it's just not close in my mind. He probably wins another Vezina this year. So I say Vasilevsky is the difference in this. But the Florida Panthers are definitely a good hockey club, and they definitely could win this. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I've liked the Lightning, all year, but they've slipped lately. They've played a lot of, iffy hockey down the stretch, and I don't know if it's just boredom, or what, or maybe a little bit of fatigue.
They dick around
playing all the things. But we know for one thing that anytime that the Tampa Bay Lightning are going to be in the playoff game, that Vasilevsky is going to be between the pipes. He played them all last year. He will play them all this year. But he's the difference in this series in my mind. I'll take the Lightning, but in 7, it's going to be – they're both going to have packed houses, and it's going to be a nip and tuck series.
Yeah,
What are your thoughts?
I definitely agree with you, Jay, for sure. I think it's going to go 6 with the Lightning. Getting Cooch and Stammer back. I mean, that's just huge. I mean, for any hockey team to get your 2-star players back, I mean, it's a huge jump for them. I do like it. It's different to see 2 Florida teams go at it in hockey, not football. In hockey, it's amazing. It's hilarious.
2 good Florida teams too. Like they're both
it's crazy. But Vazzy is. I mean, I'll take Vasilevsky over Bobrovsky any day. We saw him in Columbus. The Penguins loved him in Columbus. I wish Columbus would have signed him.
I was disheartened when he left.
I almost shed a tear when Bobrovsky left.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you right now, this Florida Panthers team is trending in the right direction. They're a better hockey team than they were last year, and that's really all that matters. I mean, if you're a better hockey team even from last year, that's a great start. And I mean, if you really want to use this as a measuring stick, it all depends on the way you want to look at it. If you're a Florida Panthers fan, I mean, this is the class of the East, so you'll see how you do. But I think the Tampa Bay Lightning will probably win this at 6. It's going to be a very tight kind of series, but it really depends on what Bobrovsky shows up. Is it the Vezina winning Bobrovsky, or the last couple of years?
It might be the one named Chris Drieger.
Fact, it might be.
Yeah, you're right.
It might be Drieger.
Yeah, I don't even. I'm not sure who they are naming as their starter, but it might not be Bobrovsky because he didn't do much for them this year. But Chris Drieger is the one who got them where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Man,
what are your thoughts, guys? I mean, who do you like here?
Go ahead, Harry.
All right. Yeah. So this is the series that I'm most excited for, and it's also the series that makes me kind of a little bit pissed off that we're doing 2 rounds of divisional play because Panthers, the Lightning, and the Canes are 3 of the 5 best teams in the league, I think, right now. And we're only going to get to see one of them past the second round, so that's why I'm a little bummed out about that. But I don't know, like it again, just like the Washington series, it all depends. Like I know Kucherov is fully healthy, but will he be ready to play game speed, playoff hockey right off the bat, right? He hasn't played. He's only practiced, and he's been practicing for a while. So we know he's fully healthy, but is he going to be able to step in and play playoff hockey? I don't know. And that's what it comes down to. And I think I'm going to take the Panthers in a heated series, in a 7-game series. And I think a big difference is going to be my boy, Sam Bennett. Playoff Sam Bennett playing for a different team. He's been legit in the regular season. I can't wait to see him take another step from what he's already done in the regular season. He's gonna wreak havoc on this Tampa Bay team. I don't even think they have anybody who can match his physicality. And he's gonna put some of these guys into the board hard. Stamp goes, all these guys coming back from injury. You better believe Sam Bennett's gonna do his best to put them right through the boards.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
What
do you like, Andrew?
The key is the back end for the Tampa Bay Lightning.
I mean,
Sergachev has to be great on the power play.
Well, and Hedman's
the best thing with Vicky Hedman. I mean, they have to be locked. They have to be locked down in this series. There's no doubt.
I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I'm struggling mightily on this series, and the only reason why, like, I'm excited as fuck to watch this. Like, this series is gonna be explosive. You ask for it, it is literally in this series. I mean, both power plays are lethal. Like, it's disgusting how good they are. Their top units are unbelievable. We've been talking about Bobrovsky and Vasilevsky. I think it's still going to be Drieger's net to lose, to be honest with you. I think Drieger's been the better of the two. And then you got that guy named Spencer Knight who went 6-0 to end his little season too. So, I mean, goaltending is better in Florida than it ever has been. So there's that. I think ultimately this sucks that Aaron Ekblad went down because this would be an opportunity for the Panthers to be the favorites because, again, we're talking about Kucherov and Stamkos coming back in the lineup, which immediately gives you that 1-2 punch. But as Harry alluded to, how healthy and game shape ready are these guys? Because you list an entire season, and now you're going to be lined up against Huberdeau and Barkov, who are absolutely dynamite forwards, and both really great defensively as well, I should mention. So, I mean, I think I'm gonna go with Harry with this one. I think Florida pulls off the upset. This is going 7 games. If you don't think this is going 7 games, you're not a hockey fan. Both these teams are so offensively gifted. Their back ends have improved. Mackenzie Weegar has really stepped up this year when Ekblad went out. And he's got 29 regular season points in regular strength, which is impressive as hell. And Sergachev, and this, I couldn't believe this because I was driving after I got my needle today, and I was listening to the Sports Network, and they actually said Sergachev only has 3 regular 5-on-5 points. 3. Mackenzie Weegar has 29 5-on-5 points. I mean, Florida is no slouch. I'm finally, like you guys agreed and said to, we actually are talking about the Florida Panthers being a legitimate hockey team and not playing for the 3rd or 4th overall pick like they have for, 15 years? I mean, the Lightning are for real too. I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from them. Blake Coleman, that pickup was huge. Barclay Goodrow has been huge for them, especially when it comes to the penalty killing aspect of things. I mean, this team is really good, man. And like Tyler Johnson could be an X factor at any point too. Andre Palat is super good. I mean, I don't know, but something just tells me that the Panthers pull this off in 7. Just they're clicking, and I like teams that click right before the playoffs start.
Yeah, no, I can see it. This is one of the series that I'm definitely looking forward to watching. I mean, it's going to be great on both ends. Let's head out west, where it's kind of I couldn't find any series prices on these. I imagine that
Avs will be the
Avs and the Knights are going to be heavy favorites in these series.
I think
probably
I've got the Avs listed here at -210.
Yeah, something like that. I would think. Yeah, definitely something like that.
That's lower than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be greater odds than that.
I mean, do you think the Avs are for real, or do you think that they fed off the bottom of that division and put up a lot of good numbers? I mean, Grubauer does. I mean, 1.95. I don't care who you're playing against in the NHL. That's
good.
I mean,
Grubauer should win the Vezina this year.
Grubauer should win.
I mean, you don't see it below 2. I mean, too often. So I don't really care who it was against. But the Avs and the Knights fed off the bottom of that division a lot. So, I mean, I like the Avs here just because the Blues are stumbling anyway. They're stumbling into the playoffs, and they haven't really put anything together cohesive pretty much all year. And I think the Avs will win this series in probably 5 or 6 games.
Andrew's going a different way.
No, I just don't. I don't like the Blues at all. I don't like the way. I just don't like the way they're playing. So, what do you guys think?
I want to see what Andrew has to say because he's shaking his head at this.
Mm-hmm.
The Avs got lucky. I mean, they really have. They've had I'm not going to take anything away from them. They've had a fantastic season. That core of players has been electrifying all year. Rantanen, Makar, that Sam Girardi's been absolutely amazing on the back end for them quietly. But this is the thing with St. Louis, man. The last time they were in a situation like this, they were at the trade deadline, essentially, that year. They were the dead last team in the NHL. Same thing in this division. They were dead last in the division. What happened? They came up the ranks again. They started clicking again. David Perron, Ryan O'Reilly. These guys are game changers. O'Reilly might be the best two-way center in the game. Give me that. Give me him all day in the players. Like, I know the Canucks beat him last year. Okay, I know the Canucks beat him. Binghamton looks refocused, which I really like against Grubauer in the playoffs because Grubauer was not so hot in the playoffs last year. I don't know if you guys recall.
No, I agree.
Grubauer was dog shit in the playoffs. Francouz took over, and Francouz was terrible. So, I mean, Grubauer's got to stand on his fucking head in order to win the series. And the Blues have a lot of firepower in that lineup. They might have struggled a little bit this year, but I still think playoff-wise, give me that experience with the guys who have been there and have pushed from almost a situation that they were in a couple years ago when they won the Cup. I like St. Louis as the underdog in the West.
Well, Harry, what do you got?
Fully disagree. I think it's going to be Colorado in 5. And I want to put a little preface on this too, because we talked about it with the Leafs, where it's like nothing changes until you prove, that you can win a series. And I think that's similar with the Avs. I don't think that comes into play in the first round. I think because they won the first round. They won the first round for a couple of years now. But it's like it doesn't matter. You know, you can't. I don't see how they can be the favorite to win when they've never made it past the second round. You know, every year they seem to lose to whoever they're playing in the second round. So I think it's going to be continue. Well, I don't know if it's going to continue this year, but I think they're going to beat the Blues pretty easily. You know, Grubauer's standing on his head, probably the Vezina winner this year, and McKinnon is probably the best playoff player I've ever seen play live. Like, the dude is absolutely, it's scary every time he touches the puck, man. Like, he's so strong, so fast. Like, it feels like every time he touches the puck, it's going to be a chance. So I don't think the Blues have anything that can kind of combat that. And Binnington is such a farce, man. That guy he's got a Stanley Cup ring under his belt now, which is awesome for him. But like, he's a douchebag, and he's actually not that great. He doesn't deserve the $6 million that they gave him because he's not good. He's not a elite goalie like they thought he was when they signed him to that contract. And sorry about the little dog, but
yeah. It is what it is.
I don't know. Avs in 5. I don't think this one's even that close.
Luke, what do you think?
2 X factors, one for each team. Playoff Vladimir Tarasenko. He's been hurt all year. They need him. They need the real Vladimir Tarasenko to show up and play experienced playoff hockey. 2, playoff Brandon Saad for the Colorado Avalanche. That man was a difference maker for years in Chicago. He is in a perfect position playing the third line for a very stacked Colorado Avalanche team already. If he can give them meaningful minutes, especially on the penalty kill power play, a playoff Brandon Saad can be an absolute force to be reckoned with this Colorado Avalanche team. They've been missing small veteran pieces like this. And I think a Brandon Saad can absolutely take them to the next level if need be. But I think I'm going to take the Avs in 6.
I like where your head's at on that, because I was going to say, when I was making my decision here, the X factors for me were Jaden Schwartz on the blue side, because when he lights it up in the playoffs, he's a monster. And the other side has to be Nazem Kadri. I mean, last year,
I forgot about Kadri.
Yeah, he is the ultimate agitator. I mean, and he's talented as shit, man. Like, he's underrated on that team. He's like the 6th best player on that team, and he's on most teams he'd be the team's 4th best player. You know what I mean? Like, he's just got that it factor when it comes to the playoffs too. And all those years in Toronto, when people were so quick to shit on the Leafs, I mean, Nazem Kadri was probably one of their best players in the playoffs then too. I mean, I like those 2 as my X factor. Schwartz has to be a difference maker on the power play and provide that secondary scoring, and Kadri has to do the exact same.
This series is really going to come down to a face-off.
Big time.
I really feel like it's right down the center. This is where it's going to be decided.
Landeskog O'Reilly, crazy. I'm pumped about that.
Yeah. Well, let's hop over to the other matchup.
This is my favorite matchup. Oh,
it is.
God,
this is one of my favorite matchups. The Wild have been playing great hockey. They come in off of this and in a position where absolutely no one thinks they can win this. Vegas, I said the day after the Stanley Cup got hoisted last year, we put picks in, and I took Vegas to win it all. I feel like this is their make or break year. This is a very sneaky matchup for them. The Wild have actually owned them this year, and I don't know what the series price is. I'm sure it's probably in the 230s. You know, it's probably the Knights in the 230s somewhere
in the 225, 230 range for sure.
Yeah, I would think right in there, but I just have a feeling about this is going to go down to just the wire. But I'm going to stake the Knights. I said it last year. Like I said, a day after the Stanley Cup was hoisted, I'm going to stick with the Knights to roll through here, and I think they get the job done in the first round. What do you think, Luke?
I can't wait to watch this matchup. I really can't. You have the Jennings Trophy winners in Robin Leonard and Marc-Andre Fleury, who had an absolute outstanding season. Alex Pietrangelo, they got in the offseason. Huge pickup for them. They needed it. The good thing is they're exempt from the expansion draft, so they can keep this team together for
Which
one
is
more
bullshit.
year.
Which is
Horseshit.
bullshit.
Which is
Horseshit.
horseshit. Correct. I absolutely
Bullshit.
agree. They can keep this team together for at least one more year. Now, Billy Guerin, you're my boy. Congrats on getting this team here. It's
Team of the year.
unbelievable. You have done a fantastic job with this Minnesota Wild team. The Kippersoft boy, or however you want to say it, I say Kippersoft, but it's not
Kaprizov.
Kippersoft. It's Kaprizov. I don't know why I do it every fucking time.
KK,
But
baby,
that's-
KK.
That dude is electric. I
Oh, yeah.
cannot wait to watch this series. I really don't know if the over under is probably going to be 6 a game. There's
Oh, yeah.
no doubt in my mind. But who do you start if you're the Vegas Golden Knights?
Doesn't even matter.
Doesn't even matter.
I don't know at this point. I don't. I think they're going to start with Marc-Andre Fleury because why not? I mean, at this point, I think they're interchangeable. They can
They will.
switch game to game. Honestly, they can give them a 2-game stretch here or 2-game stretch there. I mean, it don't really matter. This is going 7. There's no doubt in my mind it's going to go 7. This Wild team, this is a tough matchup for a team that has been right there on the cusp of getting to the Cup again. And now you draw this Minnesota Wild team. That's tough. That's a tough first-round matchup. I think they're going to grind it out and win in a 4-3 series, but this is going to be what playoff hockey is all about. And I cannot wait for it.
Andrew,
Yeah, I
are
like
you gonna
where-
go?
I-
No,
I
go
like
ahead,
where-
Andrew.
I like where your head's at 100%, Luke. I'm excited as hell for this matchup. And because if you would have told me at the start of the season the Minnesota Wild would be one of the most electrifying teams in the league,
I would have laughed in your
I would
fucking face.
laugh at you. I would have called you the biggest liar in the history of sports because the Minnesota Wild have been one of the most boring franchises since Marion Gaborik and Wes Walls and Andrew Burnett left. I mean,
Yeah.
they've just been gutter trash for a long time. I mean, last year the Canucks faced them in the play-in round and they got beat, but I think this team learned a lot from that. And I mean that in a really good way because Kevin Fiala has adapted into an awesome player. I mean, that trade was fantastic for him leaving Nashville, coming over. I mean, KK, we've described it. This kid is one of the most electrifying players in the league, man. He
Yeah.
touches a puck, and it's like everything stands still for him. Like he's just so offensively, talently gifted. But the Knights, man, here's where this is where my heart breaks because I hate talking about it. But when they played us, we frustrated Robin Lehner last year in the playoffs. The Canucks got under Lehner's skin. What happened? Insert Marc-Andre Fleury. What happened? The Canucks lost. Like it's just they have such a good dynamic there with those two guys that I mean that can steal you a playoff series instantly. And that for that small particular reason, plus Alec Martinez has been on fire. Shea Theodore is unbelievable. Pietrangelo there. Mark Stone is probably the most underrated and non-talked about hockey player in the world.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
Grateful.
You ain't kidding. Yeah.
I mean, the Knights are for real. This should be their series to win, but if the Wild win, it is because they are electrifying. And 2 weeks ago, if you guys can recall in the group chat, Vegas was up 5-3 with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. The Wild won 6-5. Expect that kind of series this entire time. Like, I mean, I'm going to go, here's my prediction. Knights in 7, but the Wild are going to keep it crazy interesting, and also Bill Guerin wins GM of the year.
Yeah, no, definitely. What do you think, Harry?
I'm gonna be a downer here. I am super excited for this series too. I just think it's gonna disappoint on the build up.
That's fair. There's always one that does.
Yeah, no. I mean, Vegas. Vegas is, they're the team to beat. I mean, in my opinion,
they are in the West. They are.
And they avoid the President's Cup curse, so they ain't got to worry about that. But go ahead, Harry.
Yeah, no, I just think like it has the makings to be one of the best series. It has the makings to be the Western version of Florida versus Tampa. I just think it's going to disappoint. I think the Wild, their best players they're young still, so I think even though the Knights are only 3 years in, they've been deep in the playoffs every single year. So I think they're just going to be able to outplay it's a growing year for the Wild, I think. And it's there's something to be said about, like, I mean, right through the first 2 rounds, the Knights can lose their starting goalie, and it makes zero difference at all because they still probably have the best goalie in that series. They got the 2 best goalies in this series, and they got a deeper roster, and they have more experience. I don't, as much as I actually am starting to love the Minnesota Wild, and like as fun as they have been this year, I just think that it's going to be a disappointing series, and I think it's going to be Knights in 5.
Yeah, I totally agree for sure. The thing for the Wild is I'm not one for sentiment victories, but if you can push this Vegas Golden Knight team to 7 games, that is a huge win for the Minnesota Wild.
Oh,
because
yeah.
Hopefully,
first of all, 3 years ago, I would have laughed in your face if this match. I'd have been sweet, done, next. This has been my smoke break game. Like, I wouldn't have fucking watched it. Ain't no way. If you can push this Vegas Golden Knights team to 7 for this Minnesota Wild team, that is a great moral victory, even though I'm not for moral victories because it's still an L in my book, but that would be a great moral victory for this very, very young team.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think the only thing that does give me pause is the fact that the Wild won the season series. Like, what was it? What'd you say it was 5-2, 6-2?
5-2, I think.
5-2. That's the only thing that does give me pause, but I don't think we can really look at that too much. I think playoffs are a different beast, and yeah.
Ryan
Take
Sutter,
the over.
Ryan Sutter has to be the best defenseman in the NHL when it comes to this.
And Zach Parise needs to be better.
Fact. He needs, in order
Zach Parise's done, man. He's washed.
Oh, for sure. He's not. He's a shell of what he used to be. But I mean, in order for this team to be that, they need the Parise of old to just be like, hey, I'm coming out of the closet for a little bit. Can I please play some hocky?
Just to be that leader, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and for KK to watch that, with a guy like that being a leader, I mean, it's crazy. This kid is phenomenal, man.
That kid's so good. I mean, he's also like, what, 26?
So this is
24.
This is the crazy thing. He's 24 years old.
Yeah,
he's gonna win Rookie of the Year, and the next guy who's competing with him is literally 20. So I mean,
but, to be fair, didn't Panarin win it at 26?
Panarin won at 25, I think. Yeah.
So,
but I mean, nonetheless, I mean, I think we can all agree that if the Knights lose this, then it's full out blow up. Like 3 years of being back to back to back, in that contention and being there to the show too, right? I mean,
I don't know what else the team needs. I really don't.
The team.
I mean, you have 4 lines, 6 defensemen, and the 2 best goaltenders in the league. I really don't know what else you could possibly add to that team to make them a Stanley Cup championship team.
If the Wild really off, man, I'll be blown away, and Billy Guerin definitely wins GM.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. He will never pay for another meal in Minnesota ever again.
Ever.
Yeah. All right.
The whole state.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure. But let's hop into some actual game picks. Power play time. So this is where we were smoking last year inside the bubble. We went 22, 11, and 2 inside the bubble last year. So playoff hockey, we've been pretty good at it. So let's try to win some money here for today for people, and we'll run through these games and then just give me the ones that the one you like the most, and then we'll lay it down. First one, we'll start Saturday. We got the Bruins Caps. I've seen it kind of going both ways. Like the Bruins minus 120, I've seen as high as 120. I've seen the Caps as plus money dogs. The over and unders pretty much stayed steady at 5.5. I don't really know what way to go with this. I feel like this is going to be a split series at home to start out. But who's going to win, I don't know. I like the over better than anything here. What are your guys' thoughts?
Over.
Andrew likes the over. What do you like, Harry?
I think Game 1 goes to the Bruins. Series goes to the Capitals. And I'm taking the under. Barely. 3-2, I think, is Game 1 is going to be.
Yeah, I can see that. What about you, Luke?
This is going to be the feel them out game. They've really got to feel each other out for this one, especially if Ovechkin's banged up as much as everybody's letting them on to believe. The same with Backstrom. This is going to be like a 3-1, 3-2-ish type game. But the Bruins will take game one and the under.
All right, let's hop Sunday. We just got done talking about the Wild, Vegas. Wild is plus 135, Vegas minus 165. Over and under 6. Just like you guys said, I like the over more in this one. I'm not a big fan of laying anything over 1.5 to 1 in hockey. It's just it's a fluky sport. I mean, puck bounce, puck luck. You never know. It's playoff hockey too. But there's going to be goals scored in this series. I mean, the Wild can put it up, and so can Vegas. So I like the over better than anything here. What about you, Luke?
9-1 in the last 10 games for the Minnesota Wild. Their games go over 5.5. So this team can score. I mean, both these teams can score. What am I saying here? So give me Vegas to take game one, especially at home, and the over.
Andrew?
Yeah. Boy, if the Wild can split this and take some momentum out of Vegas in game one, that's crazy. But I'm going Vegas at home, and that place is electric in the playoffs. And they're gonna be fired the fuck up. So give me Vegas on that one.
What about you, Harry?
Vegas for the game, under for the score. I
Okay.
think
I like the under on the score too.
I think playoff hockey is going to stun the Wild a little bit. Hopefully, for the sake of good hockey, they learn from it. But I think the first game against an experienced playoff team like Vegas is going to shock them a little bit. I think it's going to be like a 2-1 win for Vegas.
Fair enough. Then we hop to Sunday with our Penguins. Minus 130, Owls plus 110, over under 5.5. I don't know. I really don't know what to expect out of this series. Like I said, we've seen it 3 times live in person, and it just gives the Penguins all kinds of trouble. I like the under better than anything here. What about you, Luke?
I am abstaining from picking these games. I'm completely going media blackout until this series is over. I'm listening to Mike Lang on the radio, and that is it. Nothing else.
No, I agree with you.
What's about it?
I agree.
These games are unders.
Everyone.
Every
Every
one of them.
Hello, his
unders.
name is Barry Trotz. It's called defense. It's all he preaches. So
Unders.
I'm a big under guy, especially in playoff hockey, just around like in general. I mean, every series isn't going to be the Penguins versus Flyers in what was it, 2011?
Yeah.
6'5",
Yeah.
7'6".
Yeah.
So playoff hockey for me is usually taking the unders, but I think Pens win the first game. But I'd also take the under.
Yeah, Pens for me set the tone in this series, and I'm going with the under. I just think Barry Trotz plays defensive hockey so well with his scheme. So I mean, and you saw it last year in the playoffs too. Like everybody said last year when they were watching Islanders games, this is the most boring team to watch. But goddamn, are they good? Because defensively they're so sound structurally. So Pens to win, under.
Yep. So we all like the under there. So mark that down. So we'll definitely be taking
Consensus pick for us. What?
Yep, we'll take the Owls and the Pens under 5.5. That's going to be a 1 lock. So there's one. Don't mark it down for. The next one, we got Tampa Bay going to Florida. Tampa Bay slight favorite, minus 120. Even money on the Panthers, over under 5.5. Man, this series is just going to be tough. It's going to be tough to pick either way. I like the Lightning here. The split. Those first home games, and give me the under. I think playoff Vasilevsky shows up and slams the door on the Panthers that first game. So give me that. What do you like, Harry?
Yeah.
Oh man, I feel like literally all night I've been going exactly opposite of what you're going, which doesn't bode well for me because like in our monthly pick'ems here, you're doing a lot better than I am.
We're all struggling. Fucking.
This has been a tough month, man. It's hard to pick hockey games in a month, like whenever half the teams are phoning it in, the other half are, So I'm going. This is the one game that I'm going to go over on. I think Maybe not the only one, but I'm going over on this one. I don't know why. I just feel like the Panthers are going to jump out to a lead, and then the Lightning are going to have to battle back, and it's going to be like a 4-3 kind of game.
I mean, I can see that. This is one of those series where we're going to have to watch it. I mean, this is going to be one of those
I'm not
zigzag. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Like a single game in this series.
Yeah, like it's just going to be one of those. What do you think, Andrew?
I'm so happy I have Sunday off. Let me tell you, like Harry said, this is the one series that I am fully invested in. I mean, for me, I love the Panthers, man. I think they can really set the tone at home right off the get-go. Be like, listen, we're going to make this a hard series against you. I don't care who's back in your lineup. We got Barkov. We got Huberto. We've got Uyghur, like I've alluded to. We've got some guys on our team that can hold the fort down if we need to. And it's going to be key that Bobrovsky gets that first win. Because we're talking about a goalie who needs this. He needs this. He needs to steal the show. So I'm expecting a 5-3 game. So I'm going to hit the over, and I'm going to take the Panthers here.
Fair enough. Luke?
I feel like the Panthers have to come out and smack Tampa Bay in the face. I mean, they have to split this series to make them feel like they can at least accomplish something in this series. They have to come out swinging in this first game. I think they do. I think they win 3-2 in this game. And kind of shock the Tampa Bay Lightning back into reality and be like, oh, fuck, we just can't coast like we did the last fucking 3 weeks of the season. We actually have to play some hockey here, fellas.
Yeah.
So I'll take a 3-2 Panthers win. Clearly the under. So.
Yep. Then Monday, I mean, I think we'd all take the Canes, right? I mean, we're all.
I just think it's going to be. I'll say it's over. It's over 5.
Yeah,
it's going to be over 5 just in the Canes
just for
goals.
Carolina.
Yeah, that's the thing is we never see 5 anymore.
No,
5 used to be the standard.
Yeah.
If 5 used to be the standard, and it went to 5.5. Now it's 6, and we see 6.5 sometimes. So for this to see a 5, I mean, they must be expecting like a 4-0 Canes game, right? I mean, a shutout or something. I mean,
that's.
But I mean, I would look at the Canes team total. It's probably just 2.5, which is huge for a -185 favorite to get 2.5. So I would look at the Canes team total over 2.5. That's what I like out of that. Then Monday we got Blues at Avs. Blues +165, Avs -180, over 5.5. I like the over here more than anything. I don't, like I said, I don't know what to make of the Blues. And just like Harry said, I mean, McKinnon, it's just like every time he touched the puck, it's just something special because it could happen. So I like the Avs for the game, and I like the over. What about you, Luke?
I think this is the series that I would stay away from if I'm a better.
Fact.
I really just don't know what Blues team is going to show up. And I don't know what Avs team, honestly, if we're going to be real, I don't know what teams are going to show up to play. I really don't. I mean, the Avs can absolutely score the puck, and then they can absolutely go dry for the next 2 days. You know what I mean? I don't – if I'm a true bettor, I am staying far away from this series. The only thing that I would like in this series is the over for both. That's about the only thing that I would probably go to, or the Avs team total. That's probably the only 2 things I would look for in this series.
What do you like, Andrew?
Well, I'll say this: St. Louis railroaded us in that first game against the Canucks last year. I mean, they always come out of the gate strong. So at value at 165. And if I want to go with my prediction of this actually being a series, like I agree with you, Luke. I don't fucking want to bet on this thing at all. But I mean, the Blues at 165, I like that a lot because they can set the tone for the series, put the Avs against the wall a little bit. And the Avs could be on that high of winning the President's Trophy. I mean, we've seen President's Trophy teams get dismembered in the first round. So, I mean, the over-under, I like right now. I'm going to go under 5.5 because I think both goalies are going to stand on their heads. I really do.
Yeah. No, I can see that for sure. All right, so we'll each go around. We'll give one. Well, we're definitely going to play the under 5.5 for the Pens. So,
Yeah.
I mean, is there anything else you guys like? I'm going to go with Carolina team total over 2.5.
Yep.
Anything you guys like here that
I like that a
we'll get
lot.
out to the people?
No, I think those are two very solid picks.
Yep, I agree.
I feel like those are two winners right there in and of
Yeah,
itself.
well, that's what we'll give out this week. We'll give out Pens under 5.5, and we'll give out Carolina over 2.5 team total. That give the people 2 wins to start out of the gate. We might have more as the playoffs go along, but you got to watch these series. And I mean, these guys have seen each other a bunch this year, so it's a very different type of year.
Mhm.
But so now it's time. Lay it on the line. Who you guys like for to win it? Oh,
Look at those.
I mean, the
odds,
betting
boy.
favorites. I mean, we got the Avs minus 450, Vegas plus 550, Leafs 600, Kane 700, Lightning 700, the Bruins at 1,000, the Pens at 1,300, Panthers 1,400, Caps 1,700. And then Oilers, Canadians, Jets, Blues, Preds bring up the rear. I said at the beginning, like I said last year, I'm going to stick with Vegas. But that over $1,000 for the Bruins is a good value bet. They could get hot. I mean, they have the goaltending, they have the scoring, they have enough to actually do it. But like when you start getting over that 1,000, you start looking at those teams, and the Bruins are about the cutoff for me. Anybody above that would win it wouldn't surprise me at all. What do you think, Harry?
I don't know, with the Bruins especially. I just think if they couldn't do it the last 2 years, they're not doing it this year. So I actually out of the plus thousands, Panthers are the pick to go for if you want to throw down some money on a underdog on a thing. If they get past Tampa Bay, that's I mean, they got the hardest way to go, getting through Tampa Bay and then through Vegas through Carolina. But if they get past Tampa Bay, and then then they're in that series with the Canes too, and they can if they can squeak out a win there, all of a sudden now they're looking like they're got the next series in the bag almost. So I don't know. And I'll say it again, the Avs being the favorites doesn't make much sense to me. Vegas has been there before, and they were there the first year, right? And then they were there in the Western Conference final last year. And Colorado wasn't. They haven't been there yet. They haven't even been to the finals yet, the Western Conference finals yet. So I don't think they're a good bet, just for, in general, just for taking the putting down good money bets. I don't think they're a good bet. The Leafs at plus 600 is a joke also.
It's a fucking
the Leafs are probably the 6th, 7th best team in the playoffs right now. The fact that they have better odds than the Canes and Tampa Bay and the Bruins and the Pens and the Panthers is pretty ridiculous. So if I have to put money down on, and I might actually do this I might put money down on Eastern Conference or just the 2 side winners. I think Vegas is going to be there, and then take your pick: Canes, Tampa Bay, or Panthers. One of them is definitely going to be there from the other side, and I'd probably go Canes.
Yeah, I don't blame you. What about you, Andrew?
I hate saying this because it fucking destroys me as a human being so goddamn badly. But this Boston team, man, they're deep, they're good, and I mean they destroyed and broke my heart in 2011. So, and at a plus 1,000. It's a fucking insane term because they have a great team. You still forget that they have Brad Marchand that everybody hates, who still puts up 70 points a year. You got Patrice Bergeron, who's the best two-way center in all of hockey. David Krejci looks like he found a little bit of a home with Taylor Hall. So that's going to be a big part for them. Tuukka Rask needs to be Tuukka time Tuukka and not fucking terrible Tuukka, because there is night and day difference with both of those men. But for my heart and what tells me who's going to win this, I'm putting my money on the Carolina Hurricanes at plus 700 to win the Stanley Cup this year. But I am also a degenerate, so I'm going to put $1 on all those teams under 1,000.
Man, you didn't even talk about the Bruins' best player,
David past her crack. He is so good too. I mean, this team is just stacked, man. The past, man, like you think about it, there's not really a glaring hole there, but I mean, yeah. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna roll with the Canes 700. That's my Stanley Cup champion this year.
I think PJ's dead.
PJ gone bad.
Internet's
He's dead.
fucking out.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I guess I'll take over from here. I guess I don't know. So I mean, out of all these teams, I just looked it up on my FanDuel because that's where I usually do all my betting is FanDuel. The Canes are plus 850 right now.
Oh wow!
I put a 20 on it. Why not? I mean, why not at this
we spent
point?
$20 on
You know what I mean? What's the worst that could happen? It's not like I haven't lost $20 before because you're Calgary Flames, you son of a bitch.
I mean, I've literally just lost $20 before. I didn't buy anything. I just literally lost $20 before. So you might as well.
Right. So why not? And honestly, I'm with you, Andrew, for sure with the plus 1,000 with these Boston Bruins. They have Tuukka Rask back. And that was a very big thing that they didn't have last year. Halak is a solid backup goaltender.
And Halak's gone this series.
He can give you 3 games, but Tuukka can play all 7 if he needs to be. So it needs to be the playoff Tuukka of years past. He needs to show up and play for this Boston Bruins team. So $10 for 1,000? Fuck it.
I'm doing it.
Fuck it. Put it in the fucking bucket and we're good.
Fucking bucket and chuck it, baby.
Yeah,
I'm throwing a couple bucks on the Panthers too, because if they make it out of the first, make it out of their series, they're on their way.
Yeah, and I mean, out of the rest of these, I mean, plus 1,000, Pens $1,300, Panthers $1,400. I mean, why not the Panthers? I mean, that is the hardest road probably this year. I do give you that. It is probably the hardest road to get to a Stanley Cup this year.
One of those teams has to come out of it, right? So
right. Which I can't believe that. That's robbery. After all the shit we've done this year and had to go through, it's highway robbery that the NHL is like, no, only one of you, one can go. Fuck all of you. Only one of you can go. But I mean, I guess we're just going to try to wrap it up here, fellas.
Let's do it.
You can find me on Twitter at Hearts on Hockey, where I will be live as much as possible during these NHL playoffs. I'm in the process of moving. You can see Grogu in the background up there. He's ready to move too. I got a huge new TV ready and set up with surround sound. I cannot wait for the weekend to come. So let's just wrap this up, fellas. Andrew, tell them where they can find you, and let's get it rolling.
Yeah, boys, you got everybody that's watching. You guys can find me at the Boomtown Pod on Twitter. You can also find us on Facebook at the Boomtown Pod. Episode 17 just dropped on Thursday, so if you haven't had a chance to listen to it, we're getting you hyped up. UFC 262 is this weekend. Can't wait.
Yeah, I was about to say it's a big weekend for you. It's a big weekend for us. Yeah,
big weekend for the boys.
Well, all of us. Harry, what's up, man? Let's wrap it up and see where they can find you. And your team is still playing, but just
they're playing us and playing this fucking hockey game.
Right? Hey, that's going to be the must-watch TV.
Right? Absolutely.
If you're a hockey fan, you're not going to want to miss the Calgary Flames versus the Vancouver Canucks while other playoff games are going on. Yeah, you can find me at Brooksy34. And Luke, I just want to point out a couple of mistakes you just said. You said you can't wait. It is the weekend, Matt. Night. That's the weekend. And I'm pretty sure it's Baby Yoda, not Grogu. So
stop it.
Stop.
Oh my God. Now you're going to have the whole entire Star Wars fan base after you now.
I'm running away.
No, but like I said, you can catch us all live. We're going to be live tweeting. It's going to be a very huge weekend for all of us. Be sure to tune in on, we'll be live. We're going to try to set out a schedule we're going to try to get everybody lined up so it can be a constant coverage for all this, especially this year with the NHL playoffs. Hopefully happy betting. We gave you 2 winners, absolute 2 bomb winners. So hopefully we can start off 2-0 to start the weekend. And, let's just wrap it up, boys, and let's get out of here, all right? I don't know if I can turn this off.
Just leave the studio.